I left off in the last lecture with Ivan the Great, um, the Grand Prince, and talked about him calling himself Tsar or Caesar and expanding the state of Muscovy and getting independence from the Mongols. Okay, and early I discussed the way that Christianity took root in Russia, and it was under the idea of the Byzantine or the Eastern Roman Empire. Here's an interesting piece here. I'll actually read a chunk of it with us here. There was a Russian monk that eventually would come up with this concept about Russia as the Third Rome. This is the 16th century. And he said, heresy caused the downfall of old Rome. Starting here. The Turks used their axes to shatter the doors of all churches of the Second Rome. All right. Talking about the Byzantine Empire. The city of Constantinople. So keep in mind, right, the Ottoman Empire we talked about is going to take down the Eastern Empire, and it's going to become an Islamic state as opposed to the Eastern Roman Christian state. Now in Moscow, now in Moscow, the new Third Rome, the holy ecumenical apostolic church of your sovereign state, shines brighter than the sun and the universal Orthodox Christian faith throughout the world. Pius Tsar. So he's writing to the Tsar. And he goes down here. Let's see. Where's my... Oh, there it is. Right here. I repeat here that I have written above, Pius Tsar. Listen and remember that all Christian kingdoms have now merged into one, your Tsardom. 2 Romes have fallen, the third stands firm, and there will not be a fourth. No one will replace your Christian Tsardom. So I'm just kind of getting you an idea to see about how the idea of Christianity and the Roman legacy then take root in the elite establishment of Muscovy, what will be the the Russian nation. Ivan the Terrible, or the Formidable, okay, he's really interesting, and he's who some of you may have watched the documentary already yet. If you haven't, you must watch it. And if you have, then you're very aware of this guy. Now, he's commonly known in the West as Ivan the Terrible, but the actual word Grozny, which is used, Grozny, more like means formidable, okay? A little less explicitly, under the idea of terror, but his personality was so terrifying and his actions were so terrifying that I think that's where he really got the name. So, in 1547, at 16 years old, he became the first Russian to officially hold the title of Tsar, okay? So remember, before him, the last prince called himself that, but he is officially called the Caesar, okay, of Russia. And that was depicted in the film here also, if you watch that for extra credit. He was reportedly happily married to Anastasia Romanov, okay, for 13 years. He created a chosen council, first standing army, a new fiscal system, doubled Moscow's size. So his legacy at this point is not so controversial and quite actually seen as positive in many ways. And we see this through many rulers, okay, where, even Mao of China, which we'll get to, in his early phase is not that controversial, and it's kind of really, I think, easy to see how people were into him. And then later in his rule, things happened to make him more controversial on a major scale. So rulers have phases, right, that can be almost seen as separate. So when she dies, his wife, things really change in his attitude. Now, I would argue that he was always this way, but the picture here you see depicted of this man, it seems to be quite a appropriate depiction of the energy and the kind of fearfulness that would have come out of him when you really know what he was capable of doing, right? And so I'm going to talk about his legacy some more. He again had a Muscovite cavalry, and to celebrate his success, he built a cathedral to the Virgin Mary in the Kremlin. This is a very famous Russian cathedral, quite beautiful. Looks like little like candy canes or something. There's a legend that he had the architect's eyes gouged out so that he couldn't build one like it. I'm not sure if that's true, but it fits so well the reputation of Ivan the Terrible. And he certainly did create a terror state. The Oporechniks, were his men, his kind of terror squad to keep things in line. They would wear all black. It was claimed that they had, I believe it was chopped off wolf or dog's heads on there, and this little broom. This picture here, someone in costume to sweep away, that which is unclean in the kingdom or something like that. Quite a horrifying, almost out of like a Tolkien story, right? And his own rage and anger turned against his own family sometimes. So he accidentally kills his favorite son in a fit of rage, mad at him here. So and he would go through mood swings and all sorts of stuff. The guy was really, really twisted. And again, I can go on about more things, but the video should make it very clear for you. So that is the legacy of Ivan the Terrible, and we'll move on from that, especially since you've watched the video.